with a special guest. It's Neil Thorton, who is the president of the Thornton Group. Neil, thanks for coming on today.
Who loves you, Dave?
I hope you love me, right? Absolutely, right? For those out there that don't know Neil's a rock star in the Niagara region. He's a business coach. He's a teacher of business at Niagara College, and he's an entrepreneur, and he's now the author of a new book, and the book is called Presence, Impact, and Influence. Neil, again, thanks again, and how are things going? Now that you're a famous author and speaker. And
number one, let's reiterate how long have we known each other? Which is
20 plus years.
This is kind of like two shifts of the universe coming together here right now. But no, if you're in business right now, it's pretty exciting times. It's exciting if you see it as exciting.
Right. If
you see it as, well, the reason why we haven't grown is because of the pandemic, or the pandemic has impacted us. That's not the right thinking right now, right? You've got a very, very close timeline right now to go after market share because your competition's sleeping. It's like what you just said about these podcasts, why you're doing these, is because I'm doing this to continue to market myself to stand out.
Absolutely.
That your brand doesn't sleep. You know that, right? Your brand doesn't sleep.
Well, I think what's happening right now with what's been happening with COVID is that, a certain part of the population and businesses out there trying to grow their business and investing in their business. There's a big portion that are fearful, are not looking to kind of get out there and take that leap of faith. But, you wrote this book. I've read the book. It's a great book. Tons of insight in here. But talk to me, why does a guy decide to write a 368-page book? What was the reason behind that, Neil?
Well, I didn't write it over the last couple of years. This has been in my head for about 5 years, and I'm kind of working away at emptying my head. 23 years of consulting, working with businesses, and I realized that there's a lot of information in there. But my wife Andrea always said, create a bit of a reference book of all the stuff you do. Where can people go to get that? And that didn't exist. So that's why I decided to do this.
No, you know what? It's a fantastic read, and it's a lot of read. And like I said to you off air, is to me, it really is a point or a book where I can go back to it at some point down the road as I have challenges in my business life, in my personal life, and kind of reference back to some of the key points. But talk to me too about the business world right now. So you're out there, you're doing your speaking, you're doing your coaching, you're doing your training. The world's changing for business owners. Everybody, I think during COVID, there was a big movement to becoming self-employed, home-based businesses, Zoom businesses, all these types of things. So what are some strategies right now? Owning a business isn't all fame and happiness. It's a lot of hard work. But what are some of the key strategies that you think business owners need to be good at to grow and prosper in the 21st century?
Let's talk about the biggest skill set. The biggest skill set a business owner needs right now is the ability to lead change. So this isn't new to the business world. The biggest issue every business is going to face in the next 3 to 5 years is how do I find, keep, motivate, and retain good people? So businesses right now that are becoming an employer of choice is what most companies need to work on. Now, to do that work, the skills to lead change require 3 main things in place. Okay. If any one of these is missing, you'll always fail. A vision that's not a banner on a website or wallpaper in an office. And a vision that's not some vague platitude about exceeding client expectations. I mean a vision like a computer in every home. A BHAG. Remember what Jim Collins said in Good to Great. The BHAG, a business owner needs a team. Okay. You can't lead change alone. And the third thing is a sense of urgency. So if any one of those is missing, change will always fail.
Well, one thing I know is that everybody we talk to who's in business, everybody I've talked to, the biggest challenge these days is really finding good staff, good team members, right? Good employees.
Right.
Now, if you're the employee out there and you're on the other side of the fence and you're looking for a bigger future, and it's a competitive world out there, because you look at the world now, you've got people from all over the country applying. Maybe some of these businesses are all Zoom-based businesses where you're competing with guys in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
What does the employee have to do in order for them to kind of have success and move up the corporate hierarchy at some point?
2 things. Number 1, stand out. And I mean how you walk into a room. I study body language. I study nonverbals. Dave, our interviews are over in 30 seconds.
Right.
It's how you walk in, you hold yourself, your chin level, your shoulders, your chest. Where are you? The transference of confidence. See, we're all in sales. That's the transference of confidence. Second thing everyone needs to know is your brand today now precedes you. In other words, I know everything about you before I meet you. Now, I'm talking LinkedIn. Like, I'm talking the professional social media networks that if I see less than 3 written recommendations on a LinkedIn profile, you will not advance in any of my competitions because I want to know what people say about you. Your resume is you bragging. When others say it, it's proof. So someone that wants to stand out, get good at walking into a room with power, with confidence, and transfer confidence, and work on their brand. What do people say about you when you're not in the room?
You're not in the room, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, when you're 30, 40, 50, you've had the chance to develop some skills and some confidence, right? So the next question I want to talk about is the competitive market for graduating students these days. So I've talked to, in the last 6 months, I've had about 8 to 10 people come in, younger people that are, graduating, and they want to start their career. And it's a really competitive marketplace for them as well. So for that young student who's just graduating, Neil, 2 or 3 top tips, what do you think?
Read. So work on your confidence. The biggest challenge to a younger generation is strengthening a relationship with failure and adversity. So you're coming into a marketplace where people are leery of hiring let's call them a Gen Z, right? With attention spans of squirrels. But what makes you stand out? And if anything, try something. It's almost like we're so afraid to try because we don't want to fail, but we never ever do anything because of that fear. And the only thing that'll ever get in the way of anyone's success is fear or ego. Yeah. And these students are just too young to have ego.
Well, the acronym for fear is false evidence that appears real, right?
That's right.
We think we're fearful. At the end of the day, stand tall, speak with confidence, and hopefully that transcends through. Now, the book that you wrote, it's going to make an impact right now. So talk to me, too, about some of the critical maybe strategies in here when it comes to presence, impact, and influence. Anything else you wanted to add?
Well, it's in the title. So the reason why I wrote the book is because I deal with executives, owners, managers, even frontline supervisors. What they're telling me right now is, Neil, I know everything about my business. I don't need more technical knowledge. What I want to know now is how memorable am I? How good am I at reading a room? How good am I at transferring influence to other people without it coming across as manipulation, but real, genuine leadership? And there's not a lot on leadership, and a lot of it is, it's pretty vague what's out there, but this book is written to really understand, can I read a room, and can I adjust my message when I lose my room?
So talk to me about reading a room. So I'm an employer, let's say, and I'm having a staff meeting today. I've got 8 people in the room. What are some of the things I want to look for out of my team, and what are some of the warning signals where they're falling asleep and they're disengaged?
Hands down, the most telling part of body language is the eyes.
Okay.
So, I got a call early in the pandemic from a fairly large financial institution, and they said, how do we run virtual meetings that don't suck? So, of course, what I immediately said is, well, are you speaking to eyes or foreheads? Because these smartphones are addictive items. And if you're running a meeting and you lose your audience's eyes, change it up. You lost your audience. Read the room. But a lot of people don't have the ability to do that. So they keep going. And then what happens is the best meeting happens in the hallway after the meeting. Second thing, get really good at, if your audience hasn't read Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
It's great.
When we're leading change, get good at explaining the why so that people know why we're doing things. See, people don't resist change. You think they would. But in fact, people resist the uncertainty of change perceived forced on them. So as a leader, you need to let people know why the change is important to them. Give them a stake in the outcome. Yeah. I think that's business today.
And I think one of the tough things for most employers is that at the end of the day, small business, you're wearing 8 different hats. You're the sales guy, you're the marketing guy, you're the human resources guy, and now you got to be the leader. Do you think leaders I wonder sometimes about this. I mean, obviously you can coach up a leader, you can coach a person up to be a leader, but is leadership in leaders, is it a born instinct, do you think? Some people just have it and some people...
That's the ultimate question. Are leaders born or environmental? I still believe they're environmental. So, I'll reference a good friend of mine, Carl Ryan. Okay. He runs Cotton Construction. If you're in Niagara, Cotton. Carl reads half hour every day. That's his discipline. He reads on leadership. So his habits are leadership based. So when we coach, you don't coach human doings. You coach human beings. So a lot of this change is the perception of the association of time.
Okay.
Right? What are you doing every day to be better,
right?
To learn, to impact your team?
Well, I said to Nicholas, who's one of our advisors here, is the more you learn, the more you earn, right?
Yeah.
And that's a key thing. And the one thing I will say is that for those out there that know me, I have a rule. I call it the 30-minute rule. It's 30 minutes above the neck a day, 30 minutes below the neck a day. So for me, I spend 30 minutes a day in the gym doing something athletic, trying to stay relatively within my body weight. But in that 30 minutes, I kind of hit two birds with one stone, where I spend 30 minutes with a really great podcast, something educational. So now I've hit my neck above 30 minute, my neck below 30 minutes. So it's worked really well.
Yeah,
really
Audible.
Well for me. Yeah.
Anybody who's driving,
yep.
Audible.com. Are you listening to books? Are you listening to better your skill sets? The best athletes in the world use coaches, right? So the Leafs lost last night, whatever that means. But today they're practicing. Right. Even if they won, they'd be practicing. So that 30-30 is a great concept.
Exactly. I want to get into a couple more quick questions here, Neil, before you have to leave. But you talked about body language, right? Both in personal life and professional life. So what are the 2 or 3 things you should never do? We know what you should do. Stand tall, look people in the eyes communicate, speak well, speak with confidence. But what are 2 or 3 things that you never want to do when you're
well, it's integrity of body language.
Right.
So if you read this book and you think you're going to use it on people, you don't get it.
Right.
You need to watch body language to help you. So I read and study body language, not to tell if somebody's lying, but I want to tell comfort, discomfort, cues that are open and closed. So with body language, just simply because somebody's sitting like this, it doesn't mean they're closed. It could just be a comfort stance.
Could be cold.
It's just a hug for some people, right? So what you want to watch for is the different items of body language. But really understand that the reason why I want to study body language is I want to better my influence in front of a room. If I can better read a room, I can change my messaging to better impact my audience. But there's a term in the book called automatic structural historical listening, where people will just automatically listen to what you say, and we listen from our past, which means we're just filtering to what we already know. There's no growth or innovation there.
Right.
So coach your team to listen for what's possible, not probable. That's the basis of all this work, is focus on your listening.
Yeah. One thing I took from the book was when people talk to you, we rush to provide the answer, we rush to get back in the question. Let them finish it, right? Because one of my last points here was maybe talk to us about, in your book, you talked about the 6-second rule and how that works.
Yeah, so I learned that a number of years ago. My colleague actually taught it to me. And there's a chapter in the book on difficult conversations and dealing with difficult people and robust conversations. And the reason why we get into agreements is, quite frankly, we're not willing to see the other person's point of view.
Right.
And that's principle 17 from How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's been around. The 6-second rule is a way that your brain reprograms your response. David, how many times have you spurted out a response and you're like, I wish I could take that back, or I've just eaten my shoe, right? It's a classic line.
Right.
The 6 seconds is about you sitting back and really thinking about what they said. What's behind what they said.
Right.
And that's the key to the 6-second rule.
No, it's great. I think it's a great, that's a great point. And I do like the fact that when I read the book, it's let them finish their thought. Don't be the first guy to jump in. Maybe it could be the 3-second rule is pause for 3 seconds, let them finish their thought. Then you can have your say. So again, the book is out there for those that want to get a copy of it. It's a great book, a lot of content, 368 pages. And it's really funny, right? One of the things when I grabbed the book, I said to myself, okay, I need to read probably about 15 pages a day to finish it by the time you were coming in. So, and I always say to my kids, right, if you can read 10 pages of a book every night, you'll read a book a month,
right?
12 books a year, 120 books in the next 10 years. And we do know that you're going to become, in your life, the books you read, people you spend time with, right? So again, thanks again, Neil, for a great book. And for our viewers and listeners out there right now, Neil was gracious to bring us a copy. Once we podcast this out, what we'll do for the first couple of weeks is anybody who wants to be in the draw for a book, send me a reply, send me an email, whatever it may be. I'll put you into the pot, and we'll draw that book. But where can our viewers and listeners, Neil, go to get a copy of your book?
Amazon.ca. Amazon's your friend, right?
That's how I got it, right?
Thornton, Presence, Impact, and Influence. Website's thorntongroup.ca. Just send me a note, and I'll make sure you get a copy.